going live on this YouTube. I have a few different channels. So everybody welcome in. I thought I would come and hang out with you guys briefly during my lunch. This is my work from home day. I normally go into the office, but today I decided to work from home. I wanted to take it a little slower, and get some more rest today, but still some work. So I'm happy to be here. If this is your first time here, welcome in. My name is Aaliyah. I'm the founder of Divine Spirit Guide. I'm a death doula, wellness practitioner, postpartum doula, okay, energy healer, etc., etc., etc. All things wellness, spirituality. That's me, astrology. So I wanted to come in and kind of share, what a death doula is and what they're not, why they're important, and what I wish more people knew about doulas in general. Before we get into that, everybody drop where you're from in the chat and the weather. I'll start. I am from Little Rock, Arkansas, and today the summer, not the summer. Today the weather is sunny, slightly cloudy, but still nice. It's about 68 degrees. And for lunch, I am eating a 6-ounce sirloin steak, loaded mashed potatoes, no cheese. And that's important, guys, because I recently cut cheese from my diet. It's probably been a month, and I've lost 12 pounds. I cut cheese and I lost 12 pounds. Are you Oh, wow. YouTube, it's like that. Y'all are wild in the comments. So I will be removing any explicit comments in the chat, guys. Let's be respectful. But a death doula, yes. So let me tell y'all what that is. No, I didn't cut cheese. I said I meant to say I cut cheese from my diet. That's what I meant by I cut cheese. Big KSO. Welcome in from Russia. I am in the US. I'm in Arkansas. Where are you from, comedian in the chat? Big KSO. Hello, Moonsna. Welcome in. Welcome to the chat. Today we're talking about what a death doula is, why they're important, and what I wish you all knew about doulas in general. Okay, welcome in. We got Alabama in the chats. Welcome in, Chicago. Well, yes, I'm from Arkansas. My name is Aaliyah. I am a death doula. So, what a death doula is? A death doula is a non-medical person. Excuse me. Excuse me. A non-medical person that assists clients through their end of life transitions and transformations. So oftentimes people think that death doulas just have clients that are dying, but I also work with people that are still living because we're always going through different transitions and transformations. We're always dying to our old self thus having, new identities. And sometimes people have a hard time transitioning from their old self to their new identity. So they need a death doula or a life coach or a wellness coach to kind of guide them through those transitions. I just got out of the army. Congratulations, Gabrielle. I was in the Air Force for 6 years. Hi, Zaria. No, I do not want $20. Playing that good in the background, I see. Thank you, Big K. Hospice care, right? So it should be a normal part of hospice care, but unfortunately, it's not. A death doula is a part of, dying. It's something that you really, to me, in my opinion, is mandatory, but they like to paint it as a luxury service. But I believe all humans deserve to go out with dignity and to have somebody guide their soul to the other side, because sometimes souls are scared and they don't want to go, which can prolong their dying process, thus prolong their suffering, etc., etc. OMG, I was listening to that yesterday. What made you want to say that? I was listening to Cherish the Day yesterday. What inspired that recommendation? Oh, okay, I see, I see. Okay, you were sending a request. I thought you were saying just to listen to it in general, but I got you. Shout out to EA for subscribing to my channel. Thank you. My goal is to hit 1,000 subscribers by June the 1st. So if y'all are not already doing that, subscribe. I'm finna turn it to Cherish the Day by Sade. What you eating? I am eating mashed potatoes and steak. Hey, got some fires in the chat. Some appreciation for the vibes. Thank you. So we talked about what a death doula is. A death doula is not a nurse. They are not a part of funeral home staffs. They are not psychologists. They're not therapists. They are simply emotional support, welcome in Dosu, and they're also spiritual support through the process. And some doulas, death doulas like myself, keep up with the state regulations when it comes to their rights in hospice and in the hospital, so that you and your family don't have to worry about that when you're going through that process. Because think about it, when you're dying, you're in a very vulnerable state. So you don't really have time to be researching laws and having the strength to advocate for yourself in a hospital setting. So that is what a death doula does. Like, for example, one of my clients, she was passing of an autoimmune disease, and she needs a certain prescription every week. And at this point in her journey, she just didn't feel well enough to stand in the line at the pharmacy for 30 minutes to an hour. So, me being her death doula, it's not something that I have to do, but I know that that would cause her to suffer if she goes to the pharmacy and stood in line. So that's something that I took care of for her. Um, so little gestures like that, things like that, are what death doulas do. Emotional, mental, and sometimes physical support, depending on the extent to which the death doula wants to support their client. Everybody in the chat, can I ask you guys a question? Drop a 1 in the chat if I can ask you a question. Drop a 1 in the chat if I can ask a question. Okay, nothing is beyond reach. How do you feel about your demise? How do you feel about your last days? How do you feel about when you expire? I asked that because I feel like the topic of DEATH, I don't know how strict this app is, but I know on TikTok I can't say certain words. I know that it scares some people. I know that it makes them feel afraid. I know that it gives some people anxiety. So I'm wanting to make that conversation more of a comfortable thing. And I'm curious to know how you feel about it. Or do you even think about it at all? Have you accepted it? It really is. And unfortunately, I've had clients that were on their deathbed that were living more than clients that are able bodied and well, health wise. Keep you Oh, hold on one moment, guys. Someone's calling me. Please. Hello? Hey.
morning, the home warranty company informed us that their policy strictly excludes slab leaks and they will not cover the repair. We have immediately pivoted and are urgently seeking authorization from the property owner to dispatch our own Everness vendors to perform a full attic reroute, which will bypass the slab leak entirely and permanently resolve the issue. Because the city is shutting the water off tomorrow morning, the home will officially be considered uninhabitable until the repairs are completed and water is restored. We're actively advising Ms. Collier to temporarily relocate. For every day that the property remains inhabitable, she's displaced, Everness will abate her rent. So, cover the cost of water bill regarding the drastically increased water bill. Once the repair is completely finished, we will provide Ms. Collier with official plumbing invoices and leak repair letter so she can submit this documentation directly to the water utility company to request a formal leak adjustment and credit for the excessive usage caused by the broken pipe. Our team will be reaching out to her directly to discuss rent abatement and temporary relocation. We'll keep you updated when the owner gives us the green light to dispatch the emergency repair. So I literally just hung up with SSVF to see if they would help. With.
OMG, 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 guys. I basically just got news that I am moving. Long story short, there's a leak. I'm renting right now. There's a leak in my unit, and the leak is in the slab at the bottom, like underneath the house. So they don't think the owner is willing to pay for the repairs. So they're moving me. I think this is a blessing. I'm surprised. It's now 321, 3 and 3. I'm into numerology, and my numbers are 369. Any multiples or any addition or subtraction with those numbers. So the math is mathing. I'm excited. I'm gonna relax. I'm gonna stay grounded. I don't want to think about it too much. Your energy is, excuse me, guys, so chill. Do I wish you were in? You know what? Again, another synchronicity with you. Nothing is beyond our reach, and your neighbor. Nothing is beyond our reach. Ugh, there's no coincidences. But I was just planning a trip to Chicago. I rode a train to Houston last weekend because I've always wanted to ride a train. And the conductor told me they have trips from Arkansas to Chicago for $60. I can go to Chicago for $60. When I looked up the flights, they were like $400. So, and I haven't been to Chicago before, but I've heard nothing but good things outside of the propaganda about it being O Block and all that stuff. But yeah, so I'm gonna be in Chicago soon. I love to travel, and I'm able to work anywhere, thank God. So I go somewhere at least once a quarter, a new environment, state, country, or island, and just get a feel of it. I'm mean, if you come out here, let's meet up. How about you shoot me an email? Or if you have social media, follow me on social media. I believe all my stuff is in my bio. Yes, all my socials and my emails in my bio. And we can talk about it. Get to know you more virtually. Sounds good, yeah. So what do you before this live started, have you heard of a death doula? Or is that a new term for you? I'm still processing this news I just got. I'm not sure how to feel. I feel good. I think it's good. Oh, and the property management company just texted me. It says, okay, hold on, guys. Oh, goodness. What does this mean, guys? Well, let's keep it going. But why? Let me go to my notes so I can share. Something, something, some. So a few weeks ago, I was invited to come to our local news station and talk about being a death doula, what it is, and why it's important. And initially, I was kind of irritated because I was only invited on to talk about being a death doula because Nicole Kidman's mom just passed, and she mentioned that's something that she wants to do. So now it's become something that is trendy. But I am going to say I'm grateful that it's now trendy because it is something that needs to be talked about. It is something that needs to be offered on a wider scale because, like I mentioned, I mean, we all pass away and we all, as humans, deserve to go with a form of dignity and support. And unfortunately, a lot of people don't have the support, let alone health care. So, how they go usually is not supported best based on that person's energy, based on that person's essence, right? So, as a wellness practitioner, I'm a full spectrum doula. There's many types of doulas. There's abortion doulas, there's divorce doulas, there's pet doulas, there's postpartum doulas. Excuse me. At the end of the day, you have to be a good life doula in order to be a doula at all because you're guiding and supporting people. So there's a part of you that has to be grounded enough to know that you know nothing but everything at the same time. I know that might sound backwards, but that just is what it is. And when you become a death doula and you start to help those at the end of their life, you help them find peace. And that's at the end of the day, that's what everybody wants. We all want peace, unless you're just an ignorant one that just wants to be mad. We all want peace. And having the guidance toward the end of your life is support that feeling of peace and support and closure. That, in addition with your loved ones, that will help you make it through. What led me to become a death doula was a slightly traumatic. Where's my water? Slightly traumatic situation. It was in 2019. I was 9 weeks pregnant with our first child. I went to the doctor to get my sonogram so we could see the baby. And I lay on the table. The sonogram tech puts the stuff on my stomach. She's looking at me. Then she looks at the baby. She's looking at me. And she looks at the baby. And then I'm just like, and she's like, I don't see a heartbeat. And I'm just like, so in that moment, my heart dropped down to my feet. Because my baby's literally just non existing. It's just a sack floating around. And it didn't fully form. So I'm thinking I'm pregnant this whole time. It's false pregnant, which is normal. It's very common, more common than women think, because we don't talk about it, right? We don't grieve about it out loud. And after that, I went through a really, really deep depression. My husband's brother was murdered literally like 2 weeks later. So it was a lot going on in the house, if you could imagine. So not only did we lose our first kid, but he lost his brother, who was basically like his twin. They were 10 months apart. So I didn't really feel like I could, confide in him and grieve, because he's grieving his little brother. So I felt really alone. We were in another state. We weren't in our hometown. We were both working opposite schedules. He worked in the daytime. I worked at night. So like I said, I fell into a really deep depression, and my birthing doula also happened to be a death doula. And she had the gift of sight. She was a seer. She could literally see when you're going to die, or when somebody is going to die. And she never told me, but I do believe she knew my whole pregnancy that the baby wasn't going to make it. But she didn't tell me, which is, I get it. I understand. But she showed me a lot of support and guidance, and mostly by way of herbs, herbal medicine. I was scheduled to have a D&C procedure to get the baby out, because the baby was not separating from my uterus. And honestly, I did not want that. I did not want to endure that. I was already going through a lot physically and spiritually and emotionally. That would have just taken me over the edge, I feel. And I was sharing that with her, and she said, well, she told me, I have an alternative that you can do, but it's not, something normal. It's through herbal medicine, through tea. I have a tea you can drink that will help the baby pass. And initially I was like, but I trusted her. And I read upon the herbs that we used. I did my research. And, I was raised amongst root workers, so I'm very comfortable with herbal teas and using plant medicine to heal myself. And she, brought the teas, the perfect measurements that I needed. I made the tea. I drank my tea. I had a doctor's appointment that following morning. And I went to my appointment. Before I went back to see the doctor, something told me to go use the restroom. I went to the restroom, and the baby passed. Wow, my candle just went out. But the baby passed, and I did not have to have more trauma added onto my trauma through the D&C surgery. And from that day forward, I knew that this is what I wanted to do. I want to be someone that guides women through this because I don't wish that period of my life through to on anyone. It was really difficult, but I am very grateful and thankful that I was blessed with the guidance that I needed to get through that. Because if I would have had that surgery, I probably would be in a mental institution. That's how far I think that would have taken me. So I thank God that I had Tierra's assistance through that trying transition in my life. And I always knew I was going to have more kids, but it still hurt, not to be able to physically bring my first baby here. And to this day, I do still feel very spiritually connected to that child. Her name's Amira, who's a girl. I meet her through people. I've met her twice in physical form. So it's really cool. Wow, the candles started going again like a little blue flame. I can't. Okay, but yes, that's how I got into the death doula industry. After that, I decided to go under her mentorship and become a death doula, and I never looked back since. That was 2019, and here we are, 2026. I'm still doing it, and now I am also doing it with people who are still alive. So I switched from just strictly working from end of life with people that are still living because I noticed the gap in people integrating and becoming one with themselves and transitioning from an old identity, from an old identity into their new selves. So I wanted to start becoming a service in that way as well. Death doula services can also include companionship. So I've had some clients that literally want me to just sit with them or read with them. I've had some that want me to help them plan their funeral or how they want their service to go or their home going because they didn't want their family, trying to control everything. They wanted it how they wanted it, and I was an unbiased person that could come in and help facilitate the planning. I also assist with legacy items and educating the family on the dying process to create a peaceful, dignified environment um, so they can experience hospice care in a complimentary way, not, sad or gloomy. But death doulas are really important because they advocate for your loved ones. They are up to date with the laws and regulations for patients. They're able to explain the medical process and complement medical decisions with support and resources so families don't have to fly off the seat and know everything. And they have someone that can advocate for them and help them. And when it comes to what I wish more people knew about doulas, I wish that people knew that doulas provide services in every milestone, in life, not just death and having a baby. Um, that includes though bringing in life. That includes your final breath. That includes if you had a miscarriage or if you had an abortion, if you had a divorce, or you're an artist and you're wanting to be able to lean more into your artistry and become and channel that certain energy that that you need to have as an artist. Death doulas are about all that, not just one thing. Okay, and they're important because they help you get through life. Imagine walking through life as they did to us with no instructions, no rule book. So certain things you don't have the tools, you're not equipped to walk through with. Imagine somebody helping you face yourself every day so that you can be your best self and have the best experience and carry on from this lifetime to the next peacefully. That's what a death doula is for. Okay, so if any of that touched you, or if any of that made sense to you and you want to learn more, you can find my information in my description box of my profile. And I will be super happy to speak with you. And you can apply for care. Okay. I do not accept insurance at this time, but it's still very much worth the investment because you are your biggest asset. All right. So if you have any questions, feel free to email me as well. I do have a wellness Walking You to Death newsletter where I share insights about life and just nuggets on how to create heaven on earth as we walk to death together. We're dying every second. I love you guys. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe. A couple of announcements. I do have some events coming up on May the 16th, and we're going to have Bloodlust. I'm sponsoring Bloodlust. It is a production produced by Lola Champagne. She's a burlesque dancer here and producer in Little Rock, Arkansas. We are partnering with the Period Project, and we are gathering donations for young girls here locally who cannot afford menstrual products. So please do bring all the pads, all the tampons, and period diapers and panties for the girls. Come out to Bloodlust for some entertainment and some empowerment and some charity. All right. That'll be May 16th at, I believe it's 2 o'clock. Thank you. Bye.